Welcome. You're watching the Dr. Selma B Show. It's April. Are you ready for spring? I love the change of seasons. I enjoy going for a walk at the end of a long day, and I intentionally turn off the automatic to-do button where you play the laundry list of chores that are awaiting you when you get back in from a walk. I let go and find myself sitting on my stoop and watching the sun go down. If this is your first time, get ready. If you have a heart, I'm coming for it. And for my community of warriors, thank you for all your continued love and support. We have planned a great show for you today. And before we get started, go ahead and show Dr. B the love by liking and subscribing to the channel. Today's topic, the power of networking. Answers to the 6 most commonly asked questions about networking and how do you go about building a professional net. First, before I get started, do you have your warrior journal or your notebook ready? Because we always go deep, and you're going to want to have to take some notes. What feelings and thoughts come to mind when I said networking? It can feel scary because you may tell yourself that individuals who are extroverted are great at reaching out to others and building a professional network. And of course, they make it look easy. And for most, it's new territory and can feel a little scary. Let's all get on the tour bus and admit that we show ourselves very little compassion and constantly beat up on ourselves about the technology and all the different social media platforms that are constantly changing. We tell ourselves, I don't have a LinkedIn account. I don't know how to do that. And I can't keep up with all of the tech. It can feel overwhelming at times. Beloved, take a breath. From this moment on, I want you to let go of all of your traditional held beliefs about networking. Let go of the ingrained beliefs that networking is only about finding ways to ask someone who you may or may not know to help you in advancing your career or to ask for something. The truth is, that skill is cold calling, which is an essential skill in life and in learning how to rub elbows. Yes, don't worry, I'm going to give you some strategies for cold calling. Because most individuals fail at cold calling due to shyness and fear of rejection, they never get past this critical step and never get to the benefit from networking. The power of networking comes from shifting your goals from making all of the one-off connections to fundamentally understanding how to build a network. The truth is that individuals fail to build strong connections with others because they fail to realize that they are worthy and they have a lot to contribute. And as a result of feeling undeserving, it becomes impossible to ask for a favor. And even more challenging is the fear that comes from defining yourself by your income, your title, and how many friends or likes you may have. My friend, to become great at networking, you have to own your space no matter where you are in the journey. The power derives from the goal of building strong connections and relationships that I want you to envision as a net, a group of individuals who have solid relationships with you and individuals who will show up for you and those who you will also show up for. Keep in mind that those in my net and your net must be flexible. In other words, you don't necessarily have to talk to that person every day or even within the last year. Yet, the accountability is still there. Why? Because life is never a one-way street. It is circular. And as a result of that exchange you give and the other person also gives and contributes, you build trust and accountability. A circle of influence gives you and me The power, because we get to work with others to not only realize our individual dreams, but we also have the opportunity to give back, help others reach their dreams and goals, and to build community. Check yourself and know that you are worthy. Beloved, you have to love the woman and the man you've become and that you are becoming. I am are two of the most powerful words in our hearts and minds. I am strong. I am worthy. I am deserving. In our work with schools, we give attention to building community. Society sends our message to our children to just get a job. However, my company's approach is that the world needs work. And to build strong communities, each person has to contribute. And yes, you will get your reward, and sometimes it is in the form of help from others. But the change that we need in our community and in our world won't happen if we all remain with the attitude of, what's in it for me? Building a network is a process. I want you to envision it as a roadmap. Why is building a network so important? Well, the world needs work, and we can't do it alone. In today's climate, you have to be more entrepreneurial as you change jobs, seek new opportunities, and also it has and continues to be a diverse world. The world is flat, and we have increased opportunities to connect with individuals all across the globe with new technologies. Let's get to unpacking. One of my underlying objectives for the show is to always get you to a place where you feel confident. I want to empower you with a roadmap to which you can refer. Here are 6 of the most commonly asked questions that I get regarding networking. Question 1. How do I get started and figure out what I want from those I want to rub elbows with? Let's take a moment and reflect on your personal reasons for networking. I said that awesome word, reflection, which means that I'm referring you back to the habit of mine of journaling. To get started and to make sense of what you want from others when you cold call and when you seek to build a strong relationship with someone, you have to be ready to talk about your why. The why varies. You may be seeking a connection to help transition to a new job. If you're an entrepreneur, then you may view networking as a strategy to gain a new relationship and to sell your goods and services. Or maybe you're seeking to network to change lifestyles. Beloved, go high. Building strong connections requires ambition. If you want your future to be the same as your current situation, then why take the time to rub elbows with others? Why seek out new relationships if you want to be in the same place you were yesterday? You must craft an empowering and inspirational vision and take the risk to meet and greet individuals who align with that vision. When I connect with others, it's not about my past, it's about where I'm going. We all need an entrepreneurial spirit. Take a look at one of my favorite movies, The Pursuit of Happiness. Remember, it's happiness with a Y. Will Smith, who plays the role of Chris Gardner, who has had some serious challenges in his life, and he's forced to make some changes. He's learning how to cold call, but it is fundamentally his why that allows him to persevere. He gets divorced, he becomes homeless, and all in the midst of trying to love and care and raise his son. Beloved, I can't give you your why. However, the journaling and our talks together should help you reflect and come to your own understanding. No matter the reason, it is important to clarify and articulate your reasons because it will help you to focus and clarify your strategies. As you journal, here are a few questions to get you started. Be clear about what you want as you learn the skill of learning to circulate and navigate a new net. With that clarity, you're ready to move forward with confidence and reach out to others. Remember, the most important part of the process is letting go of any insecurities and going for it. Networking can be a rich and rewarding path forward. You'll need to know how to accept help and also deal with rejection. The process is about being strong enough to ask for help and also being vulnerable at times. Keep your eyes on the prize. You want to build strong connections that will serve you. Give yourself the time needed to reflect on what you need from new connections and from the wonderful net you are building. Now that you have concrete reasons why, let's move to the next goalpost. We need to now transform reasons into actions. As you figure out what you want from the net that you are seeking to build, you must also know and be ready to communicate your core values. It is important to be able to articulate your core values because when you meet and greet a person, you want to articulate to the other person that your values aligns with theirs. The core values of my company are diversity, trust, collaboration, and innovation. They guide our work and inform all that we do. Do any of these core values resonate with you? As founder, it is my number one priority to make sure every member of my team knows our core values and aligns their work with them. Why are core values so important? Actions speaks louder than words. I have learned that as we work with teachers and leaders, because they've had so many failed reforms, it takes time for them to trust us. And we take the time to get to know them because trust is the absence of fear. And we're asking them to take new risks, and they have to know that we've got their back. Many companies list out beautiful mission statements, but they don't live it, which is why individuals feel so isolated and devalued and feel like they're being denied opportunities to get to know those in the corporate suite. Let's talk about question 2. What structures do you and I both need to network successfully? Structures are important because you have to gain access to the individuals you want to get in touch with. In light of COVID-19, we are all missing the face-to-face opportunities with conferencing. However, video conferencing has allowed us more accessibility to connect with our local officials, community meetings, webinars, and individuals you may not have had access to before the pandemic. Now that you're not traveling 4 hours a day, you want to use your structures to help you build your net. Structures matter because they will help you to remain organized and, most importantly, track your progress. The popular platforms for going to meet individuals, of course, include LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's also a new one called Clubhouse. It's a new one for me, and I have to be honest, I have the app, but I'm still trying to learn how to use it. When online in spaces like LinkedIn and Facebook, it can feel overwhelming and you may not know where to start. Well, let's start with institutions that you've been a part of. Most colleges and universities do have a social media page. You can begin by joining that group. If you're not a current student or if you're a graduate, don't take the victim attitude that you haven't connected with them before and start worrying about what it looks like to start up a new connection after years. Remember, we are all adulting, and you need to just focus on your reasons and on your why. Now, don't get overwhelmed with trying to learn all of the features and the fancy bells and whistles. Set short and manageable objectives, like getting a profile page up. Each platform has a different approach and feel, and not all platforms are for you. The most important feature that you need to know is how to message someone. That's right, you can directly message anyone on these platforms. Send me a note on Twitter, or on Instagram, or on LinkedIn. Question 3, where do you go to meet people to network with? And where do you start? Start with where you are: church, school, professional organizations, conferences, and of course, yes, you can use social media platforms. Beloved, wherever you are is a new opportunity to meet and to get to know someone. Here's Dr. B's 2 feet rule. A stranger is a friend 2 feet away who I have not met yet. This allows me to engage in cold calling and asking someone for help. It's a mindset. Now that you have your structures in place, you have to craft a strategy for now saying hello and for cold calling. I want you to create a 3-column chart because we're going to now figure out how to create an outreach list. In column 1, I want you to label it as the starting line. I put into this column people who I know and who I already have solid relationships with. They're already part of my structure. Column 2, I want you to label it frontline. Individuals who you don't know, but who you may share a lot in common with. Individuals who you believe share your core values and that you would enjoy encountering in your everyday life. Now, don't get frustrated and make it only about a person. Consider a profile of who you want to have access to. Remember, aim high, be ambitious. Now, the 3rd column I label up the line. Prospects not in your current world, but you can't deny yourself access to these people. Think positive and think big. Now, how this chart works is you're going to start with who you know: friends, neighbors, coworkers, professional colleagues, and yes, relatives. Anybody in your church group and social groups. Focus on your reasons for networking and how that person may help you. They may just give you feedback or get you to the person on the front line. You know someone who can help you, and you have to have the courage to ask for help and let go. Let go of the fear of rejection. Let's talk about question 4. How do you go about establishing a rapport and to become successful at cold calling? Establishing a rapport takes practice. You have to know to enjoy the appetizers. In other words, let go of how you may want the person to respond. You may want the person to knock down doors for you, but that is a false narrative and an image that you have created. Allow the person that you are reaching out to be themselves and be accepting. Feast on the appetizer that a person offers you. No matter how conservative or shy you are, the ownership is on you to break the ice. Let's figure out how you will introduce yourself to the person you want to connect to. You can start with, what do you want to change? What have you been involved in? Why did you become involved in this industry? Remember, what are your core values and what is your motivation? What is your why? I want you to remember to look at the future and not the past, and know that you are worthy and deserving. When doing cold calling, it's important to get to the point in a timely manner. Why are you seeking to connect with that person? Do your homework and craft the right questions to break the ice and to open up the discourse. Here are another few starters that you may want to get started with. Question 5, how do you ask for what you want? I was recently looking for a publicist, and that was new to me. Guess what? I started with my institutions. I searched LinkedIn for individuals that were in my city, and then I expanded out. As I went down the list, I found someone who graduated from Fordham. The person wasn't a consultant, but when I looked at her resume and her bio, she had a wealth of experience and had been working in the field for several years. I decided to send her a note mentioning that I was a Fordham Ram, introduced myself, and asked if she would be willing to talk to me about her industry and to help me make a decision about how to identify a publicist for my company. Guess what? That person made the time. Here are a few starters that begin with, would you be willing to? Would you be willing to take a look at? Would you be willing to take a moment to get to know my work? Would it be convenient for me to call you back? Do you think you would be able to introduce me to? Would you be willing to watch and review one of my products? Question 6. I've successfully made a connection. What should I be ready to do next? Well, now you have to put the effort to really building a strong net. You have to put effort in following up, and that's why you can't truly have 2,500 friends. If you consider there's only 5 work days in a week, and each day is 20% of your time. I want you to think about your readiness. Be ready with a product that will effectively tell your story. Have a well-crafted bio or resume or a one-page summary about your business's products and services. Go above and beyond and exceed the professional standards. In the 12 years of owning my company, I have never worked alone. I'm always asking for help from my team. I get their feedback on important emails and documents. Why? Because that's what editing is about, feedback. No one gets to the mountaintop alone. You have to have a solid professional presentation of your work and your expertise. Take the time to not only meet the standards, but exceed the standards. Go back to my discussions on transformations where I urged you not to focus on the endless to-do list, but to focus on your accomplishments. Finally, I want to talk to you about rejection. As you embark and move forward on building your network, I want you to become aware that at some point rejection happens when you're networking. What do you do with rejection is what's important. Remember that a professional rejection isn't typically a rejection of you personally. Show grace and keep the communication professional, as you would with a positive networking experience. You need to follow up with the rejection, yes, with a thank you note and an email to the person. All of us have made networking attempts that doesn't go as planned. You can take a moment to feel that loss, and then you have to move past it. What can you learn from it? What can you learn from it? Don't let the negative feelings hold you back. Think it over. Was it the promotion that you really wanted? Was this really the right person to get you to where you are going? Step back and visualize what it is you are really seeking. Then make a list of next steps. Is there someone who is better positioned to get you to the next step? A rejection can strengthen your conviction and make the next steps even clearer than before. Allow yourself to have the time to reinvent, adjust, and rethink your approach. Networking is about getting to the next place in your professional journey through relationship building. And like all relationships, it's a give and take. It requires good communication skills, confidence, and an ability to speak to your strengths. I challenge you to take a risk and reach out to someone you can help, or to someone who can help you. Share some of your experiences with me on LinkedIn, or Twitter, or Instagram. Let's keep the conversation going. Now we have come to the new segment of our show, Planning Your Inspiration. Did you think I forgot? I love you, and this segment is all about keeping you inspired and you loving on yourself. It's spring and summer is approaching, and yes, we are in a pandemic, but you can't curl up under the covers and stay under the sheets. I want you to find some safe and inspiring moments for yourself. I want to share a really inspiring piece of artwork with you. The artist is Archibald John Motley Jr. He was born in New Orleans and grew up in Chicago. And talk about preparedness. He was one of the first Black artists to attend the School of Art of Chicago. This particular piece shows people enjoying each other, connections. Being together is a special occasion. I love his work. Now, here is what is special about his art. You always have to take a second look and even a third look. Did you notice my friend on the couch fast asleep? I love it. She is letting us know that sometimes Sunday brunches and all that networking can be tiring. Have compassion for yourself and take a nap when needed, no matter where you are. I would love it if you would share what is your inspiration for this week. Send me a note about your plan. Remember, you can learn more about our work by visiting our website and get inspired on our YouTube channel. Beloved, till next time, remember, saying thanks is not the same as giving thanks, and I give thanks for you.